Kawhi Leonard getting this for virtually doing nothing. That's what stood out to me.
We quickly concluded this was something that rose to the level that necessitates an investigation, in fact, one that's done outside of our office.
A $28 million check. No commercials, no interviews, no trees planted. Just a clause that said do nothing and still get paid.
The clauses allowing Leonard to do nothing, yet still collect payment. That's the Kawhi Leonard I know. Doing nothing and getting paid for it.
How we got here. Let's rewind. September 3rd, 2025. Journalist Pablo Torre drops an investigative nuke, an endorsement contract paying Kawhi Leonard $28 million through a now bankrupt green fintech called Aspiration, with a clause that let him decline to proceed with any action desired and keep the money.
When it says that Kawhi Leonard was getting $28 million, quote unquote, for a no-show job, end quote. That sounds just like Kawhi Leonard. No-show job. No-show job. Don't have to show up. Don't have to do a damn thing. That sounds exactly like Kawhi Leonard. Exactly like him.
And another clause tying payments to him by him remaining a Clipper. The NBA responds the same day. Spokesman Mike Bass: "We are aware of this morning's media report regarding the LA Clippers and are commencing an investigation." 2 days later, September 5, follow-up receipts. An extra $20 million side arrangement surfaces. Later reporting flags a $1.99 million investment from Clippers part owner Dennis Wong into Aspiration, just as $1.75 million lands in Kawhi's LLC account. Exact numbers, exact timing. That smoke isn't fog. Internal documents from the company showed that the payment to KL2 Aspire, a company owned by Leonard, was marked as critical, and a transfer was made the same day Aspiration laid off 20% of its workforce due to financial trouble. Date 3, April 1, 2022. The KL2 Aspire LLC deal kicks in quarterly through March 2026. Paper trail shows the company still owed about $7 million after Aspiration co-founder Joe Sandberg pleaded guilty to 2 counts of wire fraud in late August, admitting he defrauded investors and lenders of more than $248 million. The ecosystem around this contract wasn't clean. It was radioactive. Was this clever cap wizardry? Or did everyone get conned while the league's rules took a backseat to plant a tree PR? Quick glove touch to the algorithm before we push deeper. Tap like, smash subscribe. It's free, it's fast, and it tells the algorithm you brought your own whistle. What exactly was the play? Here are the bones in plain English. Aspiration, the eco-fintech that pitched sustainable banking, filed for bankruptcy in March 2025. Before the collapse, it signed Kawhi through KL2 Aspire for 4 years, $28 million. Receipts showed 2 wildfire risk clauses. 1, Kawhi could decline to proceed with any action desired and still get paid. 2, payments only continued if he remained a Clipper. That second clause screams cap adjacency, not marketing. If your ad dollars turn off the minute the jersey changes, are you paying for popularity or payroll? Plant a tree for every retweet is cute. Planting $28 million for every roster status is a different forest. The DOJ plea against Aspiration's co-founder matters here. If the company can defraud investors and lenders for years, it's also plausible they dangled celebrity halo deals as camouflage. But even if Aspiration was a mess, the NBA rulebook doesn't care about vibes. Section 13 forbids outside arrangements that function like salary. That's why the league jumped fast. Bass made it public within hours. If investigators determined the contract's practical effect was to supplement Clippers' pay, penalties could echo the Joe Smith Timberwolves case, only louder. The "this is fine, dog, but he's counting cap holds." Then came the smoking gun week. That Wong to KL2 money hop didn't look like marketing synergy. It looked like a relay baton. The question isn't just, did Kawhi do ads? It's whether cash moved from Team Orbit to sponsor to Player LLC in a way that mirrors compensation, the exact pattern cap rules police. What did the principals say? Steve Ballmer hit SportsCenter and pounded one note. They conned me. They conned me. I made an investment in these guys thinking it was on the up and up, and they conned me.
They conned me.
You're one of the richest men in America.
I made an investment in these guys thinking it was on the up and up, and they conned me. At this stage, I have no ability to predict why they might have done anything they did.
He positions himself as a mark, not a mastermind. Mark Cuban co-signed on X. Steve isn't that dumb. The defense is basically Occam's razor. Why would a multi-billionaire risk the franchise for a side door discount amid ACL rehab years? But Occam doesn't close investigations. Documents do. If a billionaire says he got bamboozled by a tree bank, the audit committee is Googling arboreal alibi. Stephen A. Smith, he emptied the clip. On First Take and across ESPN channels, he called Kawhi the worst superstar I have ever seen in sports history.
He is the worst superstar I have ever seen in sports history.
And said the no-show job sounded exactly like Kawhi Leonard. That's harsh, but it tracks with a years-long beef over games missed and marketing silence. The quotes are receipts, on video, and they became the public soundtrack of the scandal's first 72 hours. Stephen A. didn't bring smoke. He brought a 5-alarm press conference. Was Aspiration legit or a Hollywood mirage? Here's where the plot goes, LA Noire. Aspiration raised hundreds of millions, pulled in Hollywood names, hyped tree planting and sustainable spending, tried a SPAC, then cratered into bankruptcy. Federal charges and bankruptcy filings stripped the green paint off. Financial press tallied the wreckage from Wall Street to the NBA. If your sponsor is a Ponzi with houseplants, any contract it wrote becomes evidence with legs. We offset your carbon and your compliance. Is this really a Kawhi pattern? Step back and look at the scrapbook. The 2017 to 2018 season, the Spurs exit saga. Kawhi played just 9 games with a quad injury, but teammates like Tony Parker hinted his rehab wasn't that serious. My injury was 100 times worse, Parker said. Spurs fans burned jerseys. Then came the Toronto stint, which ended with a title, but also whispers of load management. Fast forward, with the Clippers, Kawhi has missed nearly half his possible games. Add Uncle Dennis Robertson's reputation. Back in 2019, reports surfaced he wanted ownership stakes, planes, houses. Now in 2025, that same uncle's name is in the fine print of this Aspiration deal. This isn't an isolated tree in the forest. It's part of the pattern. In San Antonio, they called it a quad injury. Reddit called it a Houdini act. Reddit receipts piled up. On r/Toronto Raptors, one fan wrote, "Whether it was Kawhi or his team asking for under-the-table deals doesn't matter. The cap isn't for players to navigate." Another said bluntly, "Kawhi got hurt, didn't communicate with the team. He's a huge clown." Others joked, "Reverse time to 2019 and make him return to the Raptors, Adam Silver, you coward." These aren't throwaway takes. They reveal how fans read every new scandal through the lens of past disappearances. NBA Reddit never forgets. They keep receipts like grandmas keep plastic bags. How bad could this get? The CBA is explicit. No side deals that function like compensation. If the NBA proves this was salary cap circumvention, punishments could be nuclear. Past precedent, 2000 Timberwolves lost 5 first-round picks and paid $3.5 million for a Joe Smith under-the-table arrangement. This case involves almost $48 million in linked payments. Under the 2023 CBA, penalties can reach $7.5 million in fines, loss of draft picks, voiding contracts, and suspending executives for a year. Commissioner Adam Silver once called salary cap circumvention a cardinal sin. If Stern was still here, he'd be screaming from the rafters. Break the cap rules, and you're not just planting trees, you're planting grenades. Meanwhile, fans are split. Lakers diehards are still salty about Kawhi's 2019 decision, so they're reveling. Raptors fans say, at least we got our ring. Clippers fans, they're sweating because this could mean losing picks, fines, maybe even unwinding parts of Kawhi's deal. One Eastern Conference exec told Sports Illustrated, "This is a huge deal." A Western GM piled on, "Very bad. The NBA will be pissed. The league's credibility is on the line." This isn't load management, it's damage management. It's bigger than basketball. This saga isn't just about one quiet superstar or one sketchy fintech. It's about how modern sports live on blurred borders between sponsorship, investment, and payroll. When billionaires invest in companies that then sponsor their own teams, when players' LLCs become pass-throughs for endorsement money that vanishes into bankruptcy court, the line between legitimate marketing and accounting magic becomes thin enough to snap. Fans know it, regulators know it, and scandals like this push the NBA's brand from competitive balance to Wall Street cosplay. Call it what it was, accounting cosplay dressed up as climate virtue. In the bigger picture, this saga plugs into conversations about athlete agency. Kawhi famously said, "I am not one of the guys in the league for the fame. I'm here so I can take care of my family, my mom, my friends, and take care of myself." That quote resonates, until take care of myself looks like $28 million for tree emojis. The quiet superstar ethos, do the work, skip the spotlight, clashes hard with a league that demands engagement, transparency, and receipts. When your brand is the claw, every contract fingerprint looks suspicious. Who really loses? Here's the curveball. This might not just be about Kawhi or the Clippers. Aspiration's collapse burned investors, celebrities, even everyday account holders who thought they were banking green. Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert Downey Jr., Drake, they all let names to the project. Now their images sit in bankruptcy filings next to a DOJ fraud plea. That's reputational fallout. But the harshest glare is on the NBA itself. Adam Silver built his legacy on transparency and parity. If this scandal ends with just a fine and a shrug, fans will see the NBA as complicit in billionaire loopholes. Forget Hollywood endings. This story looks like a straight-to-DVD sequel nobody asked for. Ballmer insists he's a victim. Cuban says it makes no sense. Stephen A. won't stop torching Kawhi. Meanwhile, bankruptcy documents show KL2 Aspire LLC still owed $7 million when the plug was pulled. That detail cuts deep. It means the money spigot didn't fully flow, leaving everyone holding receipts midstream. The unexpected loser here? Possibly Kawhi himself, whose reputation now sits in limbo, smeared by association whether or not the NBA nails him. An Aspiration's implosion, already a DOJ case, makes everyone involved look like they were standing under the same collapsing roof. When your payday vanishes in bankruptcy court, it's not load management, it's funds management. Charts and stats back the scandal scale. Since joining the Clippers in 2019, Kawhi has missed roughly half of the regular season schedule, while averaging over $43 million annually. Tie that to an alleged $48 million endorsement funnel, and you see why critics howl. The optics aren't just bad, they're radioactive. Kawhi's new nickname, Direct Deposit? So what's the takeaway? Every loophole exploited makes the league's promise of competitive balance feel more like a fairy tale. For Kawhi, his lesson is simple. When your career already looks like a part-time schedule, the last thing you need is a full-time scandal. For the Clippers, it's existential. Lose picks, pay fines, and you risk a decade of irrelevance. Silver called cap cheating a cardinal sin. If this sticks, someone's getting excommunicated. And for fans, it's a reminder that loyalty cuts both ways. Toronto gave Kawhi a country. San Antonio gave him a dynasty pipeline. Los Angeles gave him hundreds of millions of dollars. If this Aspiration saga proves true, what did Kawhi get back? Silence, rehab days, and a contract clause that read like an April Fool's joke. The stakes? Legacy. 2 rings, 2 finals MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year hardware, all could get eclipsed by one 4-year no-show job. This saga isn't finished. The NBA investigation still runs. The DOJ still has receipts. Fans still meme him into oblivion. And Kawhi Leonard, the quiet superstar, suddenly finds himself the loudest headline in the game. So quick tag out before the next bell. Tap like, smash that subscribe, and elbow drop a comment with your verdict. Fraud, finesse, or frame job? Because one thing is clear. In the league where silence once made Kawhi mysterious, it now makes him suspicious. Until next time, friends, peace.